Good morning, good morning, good morning. Besides all verification, I just want you guys to know that make sure that your notifications have notified you of the notifiees being available. Views for the 22 live on the scene. We're here. Week two. Views and dudes. True Man, False World, reporting live from the scene. We have Mo Schefter. We have Coach MJ. We are in the building. We are here. Fellas, MJ, how's
Yes.
it going?
Hey man, I feel great, man. I'm nice and centered. Had my protein shake, did my yoga core. Just got off an anniversary weekend. I'm go back to that. I ain't done yet, but figure I'll take a break for you lovely people to be able to talk a little bit of football. But I ain't got no complaints right now, man. Just trying to be the best version of myself. As you can see, the name is Work Until It's Real because I'm tired of you motherfuckers faking it till you make it.
Oh, that's the energy we're on today. Okay, all right. Mr. Chef Man,
Yes, sir.
how are you, sir?
I'm doing good. I'm not running on optimum sleep, but nonetheless, we're gonna make it happen. I've been up since like 8, even though you can't tell because I only had 1 cup of coffee. So I'm slightly agitated as well, but maybe the agitation will make up for the tiredness, and we could, still bring the energy. So we're gonna bring the energy regardless, though. Mm-hmm.
Let's do it. Well, let's do it. So, with that being said, let's start with, as you see, I got quarterbacks experience in my background here today. Today's experience. So let's talk about the emergency quarterback room. Let's go right into it.
Yes.
Chef Man, go ahead. That's important to people.
I was gonna pull it up so I could read from it, but I'm not doing that because if I read from it, it's just confusing. It's a lot of words to say something very simple. So, in the past, obviously you can only carry a certain amount of people on your active roster. On your game day roster, you could only carry a certain amount of players. So a lot of times in the past, a lot of teams would sacrifice that third QB spot for another roster player. And we've seen situations over the years where it's like, okay, quarterback 1 goes down, quarterback 2 goes down. Now what the hell do we do? So the NFL there's actually 2 rules I want to talk about now that we're getting into it. So the NFL decided to amend that, and they are going to allow teams to carry a third emergency quarterback that does not prohibit your active roster. You don't have to sacrifice a spot for him. So you could just carry, but you have to designate that person. You can't just make it up if it happens. You have to designate that person as your QB3, as your emergency quarterback, not your QB3, as your emergency quarterback. Very important how these words word, okay? What that means essentially is, let's say quarterback 1 goes down. Okay, quarterback 2 is in. Quarterback 2 goes down. Now, all of a sudden, instead of getting a receiver or a running back, or we're just going to run wildcat for the rest of the game, now all of a sudden, you have an actual capable, use that word loosely, you got an actual quarterback. You got a person who actually at least plays and trained and was signed for the position who you can bring in, okay? Now, once you bring him in, it does not mean that he can be your quarterback for the rest of the game. The minute quarterback 1 or quarterback 2 are clear to play, you have to take out quarterback 3. Okay, let's say you take out quarterback 3, you put back in quarterback 2. Quarterback 2 is struggling. You cannot say, okay, you're struggling, we're putting in quarterback 3. It is only for an injury or disqualification where a quarterback 3 can play. It is that simple. The rule is very long, but it is simple as that. Go ahead, MJ.
So For people who ain't following football, let me go ahead and explain to you in human being terms.
Yes, please
First,
do.
let me talk to the ladies because they may or may not understand what you just said. Ladies, basically what is going on is that one dude that you really like, but is a little bit arrogant. Let's say he started, acting crazy and you can't mess with him.
Man.
Then the other dude that's your side piece, he ain't got into a relationship now, so you can't get the side piece feeling anymore. You that one dude that just is like your Steve Urkel, your Forrest Gump, that just will love your dirty draws and do whatever it takes to make you happy, is just sitting, waiting on the whims, praying to his God that you just finally give him a chance after you did all of this busting down. That's what this situation is. And because we know that you're not going to marry that guy, you're just using him for attention and time for that moment. Whenever Buddy 1 or Buddy 2 start acting right, whenever your side piece breaks up with his relationship, or whenever Buddy decides to bring you some flowers and say, I'm sorry, you can always just leave that one.
I appreciate you always.
Did I miss anything?
No, but what I do appreciate, and this is one of those, if you know, you know. What I do appreciate is the ignorant hour never will quite die.
Ever.
So I appreciate that.
No.
But it is kind of that simple. It's you cannot just. So again, Germ, let you jump in here. Just give me your thoughts on it, because it's a nice rule in my humble opinion. I like it, but it is like, okay, for the sake, as Vince McMahon would say, in the interest of fairness, you cannot just put in that third quarterback because the first two are playing slow. Your thoughts?
Hey, by the way, Latanya just commented. I knew you would understand, First Lady, the analogy. Go ahead.
Oh Lord. Here's the problem, y'all. All that's cool and everything like that. If that's the case, just give us the extra roster spot, and let's just make them part of a 54-man roster, and let's just call it a day. Like, why we gotta do all this with all these terminology and all this legal jargon? In Chapter 6, Verse 3, Section 59262, with the paragraph 3 refer to this sentence. What?
You know why they have to do this to justify the 6-figure income they make.
Hey, if that's the reason why, y'all slow. But anyway, with that being said, cool rule until we get to all of the extra jargon. Again, nobody. I think you should be able to take the situation and you should be able to say, "Hey, I can manage my quarterbacks quarterbackingly." And quarterbackingly means when they are quarterbacking the proper way and when they're not, you need to be able to take them out. Okay, that's it. That's all. I mean, and I know this ain't Madden, but I know it ain't Madden. But some of these numbers that we putting up are video game like, so we might as well start making that transition next. That's all I'm saying. That being said, I will go on to the next topic of the morning. I was about to say evening. It tells you where my schedule's been. So we have an 0-2 Vikings team.
Yes.
We already talked about how we didn't feel like the Vikings was that pot of spaghetti sauce. Yeah, we said it's missing something.
This is the year they regress, no doubt about it.
So, but their regression is not a clear regression, because what it looks like in a lot of ways is it looks like they beat themselves. They are a -6 in a turnover battle in 2 games, and they've lost by, what was it, a total of 9 points?
Yeah,
that's big. Where your quarterback tries to add water to the last of the spaghetti sauce, container to try to stretch it because he wants more volume instead of quality. That's what happens.
Oh my God. That is an elite analogy.
But see, here's the other problem.
More doesn't always equate to tastier.
That's facts.
But also, I think this is one of those situations where, the backbone of a solid spaghetti, like you're saying, is the sauce. And the backbone to a Vikings offense is a running back. And the running back that they have might not be the answer. So if I'm them, I'm going to make a claim today. Instead of getting ready to happen, I need y'all to dial CALLATT and make a collect call to Indianapolis.
Boy, that's tough.
And I will make that call. I'm going to tell you why I'm going to make that call. Because week 4 is not a far stretch in the 18-week season for you to make that one final adjustment, get this guy, versed in your offense in a couple of weeks. And he moves a needle. He provides a need position now. You let Dalvin go, cool. But now you get another guy under a rookie contract for at least another season or two. He gives you another foundational piece. So when you move on from Kirk Cousins, you at least have what? A solid, stable running game. And on top of you doing that, it gives you a player that is a 1A, 1B situation with Justin Jefferson.
Or
takes your offense to another level because now you have Hockenson at tight end. You have him at running back, who is Jonathan Taylor, and you have Jefferson at receiver. That gives you the trifecta for any new quarterback that you decide that you want to look into. So, MJ, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, for those of you guys who, here's another alternative. Like, what Jerm just said was go buy some really great sauce, and you will have to pay some money for that sauce. For those of you who probably don't want to afford it, and Minnesota looks like the type who don't want to afford it, go buy some oregano and some garlic powder and add it, which means go get you a third down scat back that can beat the middle linebacker in the pass.
Yeah.
All right. Go get you one that may not be able to run it between the tackles, but you could get them in screen action. You could get them very similar blocker, get them in 5-out sets. So that way Kirk Cousins could have all the yards he wants and probably, still come down to a field goal. But regardless of what happens, I just know because the way NFL teams value running backs, everything you say makes sense, Jerm. Probably ain't gonna happen. I would be shocked if Minnesota made a move that way. I would.
The thing is, I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't really think they should do anything drastic to give up draft capital or any future assets of the nature, because like Kirk is out. Kirk is gone. This is Kirk's last year in Minnesota. Not saying that I haven't read it, I haven't seen it, but I just firmly believe Kirk is out after this year. And then you look at their roster, which a few years ago was one of the oldest rosters, has turned itself, and it's going to be one of the younger rosters when we look at it from next year standpoint. So if I'm Minnesota, I'd go more the MJ route, see if I could find some people, how you on the waiver wire in week 6, just on the ESPN fantasy app, just going all the way down, trying to find somebody, get you some PPR points. If I'm Minnesota, I'm going there. I'm definitely more taking that more conservative approach, but the more immediate, how can we be more competitive for this year? Because realistically, the coach is not going to say this, the player is not going to say this, but if I'm the front office, I'm looking at it realistically. We're not doing nothing this year. We're just not. We're not going to beat Dallas. We're not going to beat Minnesota. We're not going to beat Philly. Like, those are the two teams, elite teams in the NFC. And then you look at San Francisco, no matter who they got at quarterback, they're not going to beat San Francisco. You go down the line of teams that are more physical, more dominant, that they're just not going to beat on a consistent basis Sunday to Sunday. So I would take a more conservative approach as to what can make us more competitive, what can bring down our turnovers, and what a scat back does is puts you in more favorable positions where your quarterback isn't putting the ball in the harm's way more as much as he does. And we know Kirk's going to risk it. Like, that's the one thing Kirk is going to do. He's going to risk the football. He's done that his entire career. And it's paid off and it hasn't paid off. But, hey, you make the money he does, it's paid off. So I would definitely go with a more conservative approach just in case in a year or 2 or 3 years from now, because next year they have several draft picks like in the mid rounds that are no longer theirs. So I would say over the next 2 years, try to keep as much draft capital as possible. If you become at least that way you have a shot at moving up and grabbing that quarterback for the next 10 years.
Yeah, because the last thing you want is unhappy Justin Jefferson who's looking around and like, I'm not making the right move. You don't want that. You don't want a DeAndre Hopkins part two.
Yeah.
See, but that's the ultimate issue here. Conservative, while I think it's just a contrast to maybe what we may think here, which is part of why we do the show.
Facts.
Hey, look, have some fun. But that's where I kind of have a different opinion here, guys. I really think that they need to make a move because you were 4 turnovers away from potentially beating the defending NFC champs. 4 turnovers away, and that's
absolutely
a situation where you're talking about an instance where if you don't turn the ball over in some of these situations, those are maybe potentially 2-3 field goals. That's the difference in the game.
Yes.
So it's just like maybe the running game needs to be a bigger part of what they need to try to build and focus on. Yeah. Offensive line has been improving. The beef is getting better. I think the biggest issue is when a wide receiver is your best player on offense, that is not a sign or a piece where you're going to be successful.
Right. To go with your point, John, because people think we argue. We don't argue. We just offer different perspectives. To go with your point on something, if they have that staple in the run game where they can be more consistent, where they can move the chains more, where they can keep time of possession, where they can close games out, all of a sudden you're absolutely right because the offensive line is good. The team as a whole is not terrible, but very similar to like where there's just too much Josh Allen usage. There's too much Kirk Cousins usage. And as much as I think Kirk Cousins is the better passer, like, I don't even think that's a question. He's a better passer overall than Josh Allen, just being honest. Like, not saying, obviously, Josh has a stronger arm. We're not going to argue that. But overall, the passing ability, in my humble opinion, I'll take Kirk. But I wouldn't want any offense where Kirk Cousins is used more than Josh Allen. Like, Kirk is at his best when the play action is working, when the linebackers are uncomfortable, when the safeties are creeping up. So to Germ's point, if you bring in that horse like Jonathan Taylor, that Colt, if you bring him in and you fire that 5-0 up, yeah, the Vikings could do some damage, some gone in 60 seconds type damage. They can run over some people. They can win some games. They can be competitive against these teams that can be more physically imposing. So while me and MJ want to take the more conservative approach, Jeremy's like, yo, I still got a multi-million-dollar quarterback that I'm paying. I got all these young talent that are still on rookie rosters. I got a strong offensive line. I got a young defense. Realistically speaking, you do 1 or 2 things here. You extend Kirk Cousins. You might be able to creep into a longer playoff window for the next 2 years. So
yeah, I mean, we look at it from 3 different variables. Obviously, you look at it as you want to be competitive. I'm looking at it from a managerial GM standpoint. We add Jonathan Taylor. Do we beat the Cowboys now? Do we beat the Eagles? Do we beat the 49ers? To me, it's still no. Still no.
The only thing I think that's funny is, remember I said my take on the Eagles. I said I don't think the Eagles is the standard this year in the NFC. And the Eagles are showing us that there's a little chink in that armor. Yeah. They're 2-0, yes, but there are some things here that we really got to pay attention to when it comes down to the Eagles, right? I want to see how we progress. I mean, there's some things there. They ran for 175 yards. Let's talk about that part. That's the part that really is the difference in the game. You know what I'm saying? 175 yards on the ground, guys. That means you control time of possession. You controlled the line of scrimmage. You did everything that you didn't need to do and then some. So you still, but on the other end of that, you still gave up 28 points. That's not a sign of a team that played great defense in itself either. And another thing too is turnovers are the ultimate equalizer when it comes down to bad play on defense. You can have a great game offensively, but turnovers will be the thing that will ruin your offensive game plan and ruin everything you did on offense. Go ahead, MJ.
And let's talk about that because you made a good point. I always like to explain the why. Well, why is Philly giving up so many points? You want to know why? Because they pride themselves on having a front four that gets up the field. Well, people are running the ball more, so that's the counter. So if you run the ball more, if you're doing quick plays and getting the ball out of the quarterback's hands more, that is nullifying that front four. So now it's going to be up to the linebackers to get sideline to sideline. You know what I mean? And last year, I thought their secondary was a little bit better, flied around a little bit more, and that is where the chink happens now. So it's like the counter to that is, do you get your front four to be more focused on stuffing the run? Do you still allow them to hunt and trust the process? It's a lot of questions to have here, but all I know is every year the NFL is going to adjust to you. That's just how it works.
That's a fact, Jack.
Always going to adjust. They're not going to just keep letting you dominate them. No team is just going to just let you dominate them. They're going to adjust and make slight changes to be able to stay competitive. I mean, all of these dudes are on full scholarship, bro. So, and all of these coaches get paid handsomely to figure it out. So, I just like the chess match that's going on right now because I've been yelling for the last 3 years, the ball needs to be ran more, and that's what's happening.
And just real quick to throw this out there too, we do have to make sure we understand that the passing of the guard of Fletcher Cox being phased out a little bit more with all of these defensive linemen these last couple of years could be a factor as well with some things.
Yeah,
I mean, we're not saying that Fletcher's gone, but I mean, you don't draft some of these big hogs that they've drafted up front the last couple of years, or in some of these rounds. So I will say that this is an interesting, topic and conversation. We'll table it for now, but I want y'all to think about that. Like over the next couple of weeks, if we're talking about a move that can move a needle for a team, that will move a needle for them. I mean, Jonathan Taylor, I think is one of the 10 running backs in football. And I think is one of the better ones. I scouted the kid, thought he was great. Did not know he had that burst in acceleration that he has, and that is the part that takes him to that top tier of talent when it comes to being a running back. The ball carrier vision is there. Everything is there. The pass catching ability is there as well. But when you add all of that stuff with the ability that he has to be very, very, very well versed with his foot language, and yes, I said foot language, sticking your cleats in the ground and being able to get north and south, being able to know how to manipulate running lanes, how to manipulate angles. Always doing a running back 101, keeping the eyes to the sideline, being able to keep the middle of the field open. Like those are things he does that are the underrated things that a lot of these running backs do not understand. And you see, that's the reason why when you put players like him on the field, they really help. Especially, it doesn't matter who the quarterback is, they're going to value having that guy. So, any last thoughts on this, guys? I mean, because again, like I said, I'm the voter for no bucks, no whammy.
You guys inspired me to make nachos today. So shouts out to you guys.
You know what's crazy, MJ? I'm thinking about ordering some nachos. I'm not kidding. I am not kidding. It's like me and Jay with pizza, but I'm telling you, I'm feeling for some nachos. I don't know if this is a nationwide chain or not. I don't think it is, but when German and the guys came to Pittsburgh, we went there. It's called Burgatory. Okay. They got some nachos there. It's called 6 napkin nachos. And we won't add it to the cart. So, and then they got these spicy habanero wings, mango habanero wings. Yeah, that's coming too.
Hey man,
that's the menu.
When we talk football good, the better we talk football, the worse the food gets. So
yes,
Durham is in his bag, Mo's in his bag. Now I got to make some nachos.
Yes,
this is just too good of football talk. But y'all got now I'm on cheat day too. Thanks, guys. Damn.
Hey, in 3 days is how you got to do a cheat day. I'm just playing.
Absolutely. Hey, listen, or you just use the turkey ground beef.
I'm using that.
And and then you might be able to find you some lower fat chips.
I just need low carbs. I need low carb chips.
Low
And
carb-
if you
low
take
carb
carb
chips?
out,
Nobody doing all that. No,
bro,
no,
taking
no.
carb out the chips is like putting a condom on.
Yeah, it's like gluten-free bread. Come on now.
All right. Well,
Come
we
on now.
tried
Come
to
on
be
now.
positive, to be
I don't care what
accommodating.
anybody says, okay? I am
take the
sensitive
carb
to
out of
people's
chips.
sensitivity and all that, okay? Cool.
Just get some
I ain't saying
Doritos.
nothing like, bro, don't get no gluten-free bread. Don't get no cauliflower chips. I just don't do it. Don't do
No.
it. Get you some bread with some yeast. Get you some chips with some starch and live your life.
Live.
Okay?
Yo,
Come on now.
Just
Come on now.
just hit the treadmill 30 more minutes.
Bro, like don't send me no cauliflower pizza. Like, I don't want it. I don't want it. Do some push-ups. Like MJ said, get a treadmill. Weather's still nice in certain parts of the country. Take a little stroll. Like, come on now, live your life.
If you got a dog, walk it.
You gotta, Coco.
She right here asleep.
Yeah, the last thing I want to say about the Thursday game,
Okay.
the touchback rule. If you fumble the ball, I like the rule. Keep the rule. I don't care what anybody says. I like the rule. Keep the rule. At the end of the day, it's a fumble. You fumble. It makes sense why if you fumble it and it goes over, then it goes back to the other team. Okay, it's like it feels like a very basic. This is the first game we play as humans rule, but I like it.
Love it. So we're gonna get to these picks
different
now,
in the
man,
game. Different game.
Yeah, let's get What's that?
Different game. If we do that, it's a different game.
So, a couple of things before we get into the games. Mark Andrews is active,
That's
and
a nice
Travis
shirt too, right
Kelce
there.
is active. So those are two very big ones. Austin Eckler for the Chargers is out. DeAndre Hopkins is questionable, more like doubtful. In the 4:00 games, Brandon Cooks probably, Breece Hall probably, and then Devontae Parker is a probably. However, there's two things. Number one, Amari Cooper is not playing today or tomorrow night against the Steelers. And then with DeAndre, a lot of conflicting reports. Some say it's not looking good. Some say he's going to play. Some say he's going to chance it. Some say it's game time. So as we get closer, I'm sure we will have an official word on it.
Chef man.
Oh, you forgot Aaron Jones.
Man.
Aaron Jones not playing either.
Mm-hmm. And Aaron Jones not playing. All right. You want to do the games, Jerm?
Let's do it. Chef man, take
All
over.
right.
Let's do it.
Let's start it.
Hey,
You
shouts
got
out
the
to the
Packers
people in the comments too.
Oh, yeah. Before we do that, let's get to the comments. Anybody who's in the comments? You got Tanya,
First lady in
Dennis,
there,
Jaquan.
salute to you. Dennis is in.
Yes,
He's
sir.
have all nachos all the time. Thank you. I'm not the only fat person in here. Appreciate it.
Okay, all right. See, Jaquan and Tanya. Go ahead, Jerm. Go ahead, MJ. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. Category 5. What's up? Good to see you live. Yeah, man, that's just kind of where we at, man. Just want to shout y'all out. We appreciate y'all, man, for dealing with our jargon.
Yes.
Our banter.
So Jaquan and Tanya are both Pittsburgh people as well, so they know about Burgatory. Jaquan said you got to try the milkshakes. I have tried their milkshakes. This is not a Frosty from Wendy's. Okay, this is not a milkshake you get at the gas station or at the mall from the little whatever. These milkshakes are elite. Okay, these are first round prospects. These are full scholarships. These were the milk was made by cows who get massages and go to spas and just the grass is treated with the finest ingredients. All right.
I didn't know carrying cows existed. You get milkshakes from carrying cows out there?
Bro,
that is different. I want a carry cow milkshake.
These milkshakes are elite. Okay.
Hey, if I can't get a carry cow milkshake, I don't want no more milkshakes. Step y'all milkshake game up, people.
Oh my God. Okay. First game of the docket. You got the Packers at the Falcons. I'm sorry. Where's my manners? You got the Jordan Love led Packers at Big Shots Atlanta Falcons. Over under is 40.5. Packers 3-point road underdogs. If you betting, the safe bet is to take the Packers with the points. I wholeheartedly believe the Packers are just going to go in there. They're going to execute. They're going to play good against while the Packers quarterback is young, the Falcons as a whole are still just young, everything, all around. And so I just feel the Packers early on in the season, this matchup, I'm definitely going with the Packers. Give me the Packers. 40 just feels a little too low, 40.5. Watch the score be like 2019 because Vegas is Vegas. But I'm going to go Packers. I'm going to go over. MJ?
I am going to say this. I'm going Falcons for this reason. Aaron Jones was responsible for every big play they ran last week.
That's fair. That's very fair.
Aaron Jones not being there matters because even though I love their backup running back, he doesn't have that second gear to get you to be that dynamic guy. He's a ground and pound, more of a Mike Allstott, Jerome Bettis type of bruiser. And you can stack the line against that. And not to say that Jordan Love still can't be able to use play action, but it's just not the way they want to play football. They like playing football in space. And Aaron Jones not being there takes that element away. So give me Atlanta for an upset for that reason.
No, I think that's a great point. I love A.J. Dillon, but he's not he's not on the tier of Derrick Henry or Jerome or those guys. Like he is where he's most effective, Jerm, is when the Packers are going hurry up and the defense gets tired, or when Aaron Jones is cooking, running sideline to sideline, and again, they're getting tired. That's where AJ is most effective. Jerm?
Well, I think he's going to still be effective because I think they can still run the ball against these people.
As they should be.
Right. So I'm taking the Jordan Love Packers. I'm going to do 27-20. I think we get a really, really good game out of this. But the biggest thing is, and shouts out to Big Shot, biggest thing is if the Falcons go 2-0, I'm going to start looking at that jersey.
Hey, oh man, speaking of if they go 2-0, you got the Chicago Bears at the Baker Mayfield-led Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I'm not buying the hype. However, I do think they're going to get some wins, obviously, but I'm still not buying the hype. Nonetheless, I do think the Buccaneers start the season off 2-0. So give me the over-under is 40.5 again. I'm going to take the under. Give me the Bucs and give me the under. MJ?
Let me go ahead and go Bears. Because Bears, this is the typical Bears type, what they do. They let you down to the lowest point of letdown, and then they reel you back in by doing something that people don't expect. This is just typical Bear behavior. So it's only right that they beat the Buccaneers and beat them convincingly enough to people be like, oh, the first week was a fluke. It happens every time. There is no bigger roller coaster on earth than being a Bears fan. And I feel for my people because you deserve better. But I think the Bears is going to win, and you guys are going to jump right back on that bandwagon, and it's going to catch another flat tire, and you're going to have your thumb out again or drinking pee like Better Call Saul. So give me the Bears, but that does not mean they're going to be good. Go for it.
Simply put, give me the Buccaneers. I'm just listen. I mean, we got a quarterback last name Fields, and he ain't seeing the field, and I can't do nothing with that, man. Give me the Buccaneers 20 to 6.
Okay. Next game, you got the Seahawks at the Lions. Over under is 47.5 in this one, a little higher. Obviously, I would expect that to do more with the Lions and the Seahawks. Seahawks are 4.5 road underdogs. Jamal Adams is out. And then for the Lions, Taylor Decker has missed all week of practice. So in all likelihood, he's not going to be playing. I don't see any reason why they would risk it early in the season. I like Detroit, man. I picked Detroit to win this division. I'm going to keep riding with them. No offense to Geno, but until I see it, I'm just not going to believe it. Like, yeah, he had a good stretch. We've seen several quarterbacks have a good stretch. We've seen a couple even win a Super Bowl, but they still trash. And not saying Geno's trash. Not saying Geno's trash. And you know what the shade was.
He's mid. It's okay.
Yeah. Like, okay.
He's not trash. He's just a garbage can. So with
It's
that
like
being said,
I'm going Lions. Definitely going Lions. Over.
give me Lions. Go ahead, MJ. Go ahead.
No, I'm
I'm
gonna go
sorry.
Lions on this one too. Seahawks start 0-2.
Okay. Next game, you got the Raiders at the Bills. You got the Las Vegas Raiders, who are 7.5 road underdogs to the Buffalo Bills. Over under is 46.5. I want to do it so bad. I really do. I want to do it so bad just because the Bills don't deserve it. Okay, the Bills deserve to, after dropping to the Jets the way they dropped, that should count as 2 losses, not 1. So by that law, they should lose this game today. So I'm gonna bet the Raiders with the points, but I want the Raiders to win this game. So I'm gonna take the Raiders with the points. That's my conservative style. I'm gonna go over and the Raiders plus 7.5. MJ?
Give me the Raiders to win for this reason and this reason only. Josh McDaniels have history going against the Bills. I think he's going to be very prepared. Jimmy Garoppolo is good enough to make all of the throws. He's mid as well, but at least he will make the throw to execute the game plan, and the game plan will be good enough to beat the Bills, especially if Josh Allen's not going to take care of that football. They still don't have a running game that they could trust for real. Stephon Diggs clearly is still not locked in to the intangibles that you need to be a great wide receiver and a great teammate. I think there's problems there. Give me the Raiders.
I'm still taking the Bills. I just don't think that there's any way. I just don't think there's any way they dropped to 0-2, knowing that they can't get this far behind in that division. This is like a red flag game for them. If you lose this game, we need to go back to the drawing board, look in the mirror, and say, Josh Allen need to go look at his own eyes and tell him what he sees, because the future ain't looking too bright.
Yeah. Speaking of what the future might look like, okay, this next game, you got the Chargers and the Titans. All right. Austin Eckler is out. Eric Kendricks is out. Joey Bosa's questionable. They say Hopkins is active. We'll see how effective he can be. However, Christian Fulton and Amani Hooker are both ruled out. Hooker with the concussion, Fulton with a hamstring. My thing about this game is neither of these teams want to be in a bad position as the year progresses. So even though it's early, even though it's only week 2, both of these teams need to have a bit of a sense of urgency about this type of game, because these two teams are going to be measured up against one another to see, okay, if any of them are going to upset the Kansas Cities or the Bengals or the Ravens of the AFC. These two teams are going to be one of those teams that we look at because of the way they're built, because of how they match up against these guys, against the Lamars, against the Burrows, against the Mahomes. So this game, even though some major pieces are missing, it does not in any way, in my humble opinion, take away the significance of this game later on down the road in the season. Because like I said, if any team is going to play upset to the 3 big dogs in the AFC, these 2 are my prime candidates. With that said, Chargers are 3-point road favorites. Over under is 46.5, 45.5. I'm going to take the Chargers. Because we say it every year. The Chargers play well, they just can't win. No, you know what? No. Give me the Titans.
Thank you.
Give me the Titans like 17-16. Give me the Titans.
Bro, until they start punting on 4th down.
Yeah.
Until they start showing me that they could play smash mouth physical football, because you're happen to be going up against the most physical running back in the league. Until you could do those things, and the wide receiver, since he's going to play, DeAndre Hopkins at this age of his life is known for being what? Physical. They're not going to win a physical game, in my humble opinion. If they do, I will be shocked. Give me the Titans. And yes, you're seeing the occurring theme right now. Every team that I'm picking the more physical team every time, because I think that the line has been drawn in the sand and has been drawn in the sand since this first week. If you can't run this football, if you can't punch somebody in the mouth, I don't think you're going to be good this year.
Yeah, that's fair. Jerm?
The problem is, I don't trust the Titans to score more than 17 points. But you can bet your bottom dollar that the Chargers is going to score 24 points. Give me the Chargers 24-17.
That's hilarious. You put it right at. That's
Oh, man. All right. Next game on the docket, you got the Ravens and Bengals. Heavyweight matchup for the 1 o'clock slot. Over-under is 45.5. The Ravens are 3.5 road favorites. Now, I'm assuming that's because of the performance that the Bengals had last week. That's not something that I'm going to base my opinion, my perspective on Cincinnati on. That, to me, was more about Cleveland and how they can look at their best moving forward. The Ravens, Marlon Humphrey and Tyler Linderbaum and Ronnie Stanley and Marcus Williams. It's a lot of names that are out. Now, Mark Andrews is back, but for the Bengals, they coming into this game relatively healthy. In my humble opinion, okay, this is a must-win game for Cincinnati. Hate saying that so early again, because it's in my opinion dumb to say anything is must-win in week 2, okay? Because they're gonna play them again, and they're gonna have a chance at redeeming themselves if they so happen to lose. But to be down 0-2 and 0-2 in the division against clearly a division that we see is gonna be competitive, that's not where you want to start the year if you're Cincinnati. So I'm going with the Bengals to win this game by a field goal. MJ?
I think whoever wins this division is going to have either a 4-2 or even a 3-3 record. So give me Cincinnati. Give me Cincinnati for that very reason. I just think in this division, guys are going to take care of business at home. And you may get, due to injury or whatever, 1 or 2 still in on the road, and that will be the determining factor in who wins the division. So Cincinnati plays Baltimore extremely well. And I think last week was more of a reflection on how scary the Cleveland defense is as opposed to Cincinnati taking a step back. And if Baltimore goes sit in that zone, Jamar Chase going to act a fool. And I'm here for it because he's on my fantasy.
Yeah. We need to see it too. Jerm?
I'm taking the Bengals this week. And I'm taking the Bengals this week for basically one reason. Odell Landry. Nobody to hold Odell Landry today. The Browns threw a plethora of corners and safeties at him last week. They just had a really, really good game plan. They had the right players, the right situations, the right everything. Unfortunately, the Ravens, I don't believe, have that. That's not saying that they don't have talent. That's just saying I think the secondary is a little banged up at this point in the season. So I'm in that show me stake with them right now for that reason. And I think, they kind of escaped last week with the win over a very, very young and inexperienced team with the Texans. This week, Bengals have something to prove. It wouldn't shock me, though. I'm going to tell you the truth. It wouldn't shock me if the Ravens won, but I'm picking the Bengals. I do legit think that this is the week Cincinnati says we can't do 0-2 again this year. Because Mo, if I'm correct, bro, I think this will be 3 years in a row they'll be starting.
I believe so. Yeah.
0-2.
I think anytime you see an AFC North game, it's a coin flip. It's 50-50, seriously. So even me picking Cincinnati is not a knock on Baltimore. I really just pick Cincinnati because of Jamar Chase.
Sure. Next game, another division game. Another game that most people might look at and be like, gimme. Ain't nothing going to be gimme about it. It's going to be an interesting game. You got the Chiefs at the Jaguars. Okay, Kansas City is going to Duval County. Now you got Travis Kelce back. You got Chris Jones back. So by all means, you think to yourself, gimme. Kansas City should roll in there, and they should roll over the Jaguars. I do not think, for one, that's going to happen. Over-under is 50.5. Jaguars are getting 3.5 points at home, which in the past, they probably would have gotten like 6.5 points at home against Kansas City. Yeah. Okay? So I think I think Kansas City is in for a fight. I think Jacksonville, clearly there's maturity with Trevor Lawrence. Clearly there's a different identity to this football team on all three sides of the football. And I think they can do a lot of things well. And I do think Jacksonville is primed to not crawl into the playoffs as a consolation. Like, I think they have a chance to make a statement and say, hey, this might be a team that can compete, like the Chargers, like the Titans.
Yeah.
So while this is a very important game, I do think the Kansas City Chiefs will ultimately win this game. Travis Kelce back, Chris Jones back. Those are two monumental difference makers for this football team. And I think ultimately it's going to be won't be enough to win. So I think it's going to be competitive. And KC will win. But just keep an eye on how Jacksonville plays them for 60 minutes moving forward. Just put that in your memory. MJ?
What you said, say that with the Kansas City Chiefs all the way through the season. Kansas City Chiefs has reached a level to where they're so good, the team's going to come in just like, we're going to play free. We're just going to let it ride. Because if we beat you, it's gravy. But if we lose to you, we're supposed to lose anyway. So everybody who plays them, for the most part, with the exception of the teams that really is looking to make it to the Super Bowl, they're just going to just play and just understand, like, we got nothing to lose. And the most dangerous team, and the most dangerous type of team, especially in a team that requires physical combat, is a team that don't got nothing to lose. So I am picking the Chiefs to squeak out of this. The only reason why I'm picking the Chiefs is because Steph Curry got Draymond Green and Klay Thompson back. So really the only reason.
I'm just going to be honest with you. This is probably the hardest game I had to pick this week, right? And I'm going to tell you the two reasons why, and it's going to be really brief. I do think 2 and 3 coming back makes a big difference. That's the number one reason. The second reason why, though, is because I just think that the Jacksonville front seven can cause so many problems for Pat Mahomes.
Yeah.
I think that what they're doing up front right now with that front seven is elite football business. I think that what they have on offense is elite football business. I think that these receivers can spread this defense out and really make them work. And I think they got some route runners here, like Calvin Ridley, who will run some routes that will get deep past some of these safeties. Say what you want to say, Justin Reed may not have been an upgrade from Juan Thornhill, but I can tell you he was a downgrade because Juan Thornhill is a lot more disciplined. And Justin, you can get behind him. I want to see a great football game. Give me Duval County.
I love it.
That's a good pick.
Next one, you got the 49ers at the Rams, over under 45.5. 49ers 7-point road.
How'd I go first on this one?
You got it.
All right, look, two things real fast. Number one, San Francisco, if you lose this game to the Rams, I don't want to hear about Super Bowl aspirations, period. Number two, run the ball. I need to see at least 45 rush attempts today. And not only do I want to see 45 rush attempts, I want you to run at 99. Run at 99. Say Aaron Donald's one of the greatest football players we've ever seen in history of this sport. But the one area that he is and he will be able to be dominated in is the run game with that big offensive line. I need to see it establish dominance. 2-0 49ers today. And it needs to be dominant. It needs to be kind of like last week. Y'all want to talk about yourselves in that dominant class? Dominate this team that only has Aaron Donald's ass.
Jared, what color shirt I got on?
Blue.
All right, everything you said is great, but you got to remember, who's the head coach at the 49ers? When has he ever ran the ball 45 times? He's going to overthink himself out this situation. And Sean McVay is going to coach circles around him. But that still doesn't mean I don't believe in the 49ers. I just think this is a really funky game to measure them on. You got to look at it. Look at how the Rams played last week. I made the mistake and picked against them against Seattle. Sean McVay is in his bag. He got everything that he needs to maximize those guys. And a coach that has everything for his system and the system has proven to work is scary. It's scary.
Kyle Shanahan is Coach Klein, okay? And Sean McVay is, what's the dude's name? Coach Red, whatever, from Waterboy. That's what this is, okay? Shanahan needs to find him his Bobby Boucher, okay? That is what it comes down to. Otherwise, no matter what the roster is, somehow, some way, the Rams gonna find a way to beat San Francisco. With that said, I'm taking the Rams with the points, but I actually expect the Rams to win this game. I'm gonna bet on the Rams with the points, but I think the Rams gonna win this game. Hey,
coaching matters, bro.
It does. Which maybe we should just skip the next one because it's the Giants and the Cardinals.
What's the color of my shirt again?
Can we?
What's the color of my shirt again?
Blue.
Okay.
Okay. So Giant. Are we all picking the Giant?
We're all picking the Giants.
Yeah.
Okay. Here's the next one. You got the Jets at the Cowboys. Over under 38.5, 8.5 points for the Jets.
Can we all just pick the Cowboys, please? We don't need to go.
What's the color of my shirt again? Okay.
But what if?
Man, this ain't no damn what if. This is
okay. All right.
Hey, look, bro. Stephen Gilmore is on one side.
I hear you.
And Trayvon Diggs is on the other. Hey, but Ty Parsons is blitzing. What are you gonna do with that if you're Zach Wilson? Now, if you
Cowboys by a lot. Okay. Let's just go there. Oh my God, I'm getting hungry, yo. Commanders at the Broncos. Listen, if the Broncos don't win, okay, just send Russell Wilson back to Seattle. Okay, send him on the 310 to Yuma, and just do something else with your lives. Okay. Anything else? Anybody want to add chime on this?
I mean, I'm so scared to pick the Broncos. It don't make no sense.
Dude,
I feel like 17 points is like the threshold. Like they can't break loose of 17 points. And then neither can the Commanders.
Understand why.
So you know what? For the first time of the year, I pick a tie. 17-17.
Oh boy.
Hey, hold on. What color is the old school 1988 Bronco jersey? I'm right with that. I didn't know why I put this shirt on. God did.
Listen.
Hey, God did.
God did.
God did. So
I'm curious if you're going to use the blue shirt on this next one.
Let's see it.
Miami Dolphins at the New England Patriots. Ooh.
By the way,
over
y'all,
under 46.5.
I'm not gonna really pick a tie. I'm gonna pick the Broncos, just so y'all know.
Okay.
Now this game, I have been going back and forth with this game all day. Okay, all week to be honest with you, because on the one hand, I'm like, yo, Miami should come in here and just dominate from start to finish. But on the second hand, if Mac Jones can play the way he played last week, it's gonna make for an interesting season. The issue for me with New England, obviously, number one, you can already see the difference in the offense. Just from week one, you could already see this is Bill O'Brien's offense. They're spreading them out. They got two guys in the slot running zig routes. They got somebody running the in. They got all these people running these spot routes. I mean, you could just see that this is Bill O'Brien's type of offense. Okay, New England has only ran two types of offenses, well, three, but it's all been the same philosophy. But each between Charlie and Josh and Bill, each three of them had their own little identity. Okay, you could see this is Bill O'Brien's identity here, and he's getting creative with it in the run game. Where I think the Patriots are going to find the most struggle this year offensively is in the quick passing game. That's where I think they'll struggle, and that's going to be on Mac Jones. He's got to improve his anticipation. He's got to improve his footwork. He's got to improve his overall quickness. Because, again, the guy that used to run that offense, he was quick. He wasn't fast, but he was quick. He's probably the quickest quarterback in the league if you really want to go there in terms of, death by a thousand cuts,
I like it.
quick slants, spot routes, you name it. So I think the biggest struggle that Mac Jones is going to face is in the quick passing game, the quick little 5-yarders, the quick little 3-yarders, all not the screens and the whatnot, just the quick little boom, boom, boom that's got to go out over the line of scrimmage. I think that's where he finds the most struggle. But overall, I think there's a vast improvement in the overall offense of New England. Now you go over to their defense, Germ. I don't know when's the last time over these last few years, obviously, but more and more now, ever since Tom Brady was on his way out, you see Bill carrying more pure pass rushers. So Bill's got a lot of just pure pass rushers right now, young guys, but he's got a lot of pure pass rushers right now. And I think how he's going to want to impact the game is to just disrupt. So I can see New England causing a lot of disruption early for Tua. Now, again, Tua's mechanics and everything save him, but I am fascinated to see how this chess match plays out between the maturity of Tua and what Bill does with the pieces he's got on the line of scrimmage. And then I'm curious to see if New England can just find efficient, long success with their 3 running backs, including Ezekiel Elliott. I am extremely, extremely, extremely tempted to pick the New England Patriots. And so thus I will. Just like I'm extremely tempted to order those wings, I am extremely tempted to order up a W for the New England Patriots. So give me the Patriots by a field goal.
Okay. So I'm going to simply say this. Speed kills. Tyreek Hill has now stepped into the Steve Smith, Randy Moss era when it comes to just pure vertical weapon that you just can't prepare for. He's running by every fucking body. And you got a lefty quarterback because you used to guarding righty quarterbacks. It's unorthodox enough to get you the ball. The other receiver on the other side of the flanker, he fast too. Raheem Mostert is fast too.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody is fast on that.
They're just fast, bro.
Everybody's just fast.
They just fast.
Yeah, like I'm not picking against them, bro. Like if they, as long as Tua can stay upright and use his vertical arm and just get people open, the Wiggler is going to have to run a cover 4 and is going to have to get to Tua with 3 people in order to beat them. Is it possible? Yes. Probable? No. Because if you are in a cover 4 and you're only sitting to 3 people, that means Raheem Mostert is going to carve you up alive in the underneath routes, in the quick slants, in the dump offs, and even in the draw screenplays. Give me Miami. Oh, and to answer your question category, I'm gonna be real with you. I don't like either of them. I don't like Zeke or Evan, but I will take Evan Ingram over Zeke because with Bill, I just don't trust anybody on Bill's fantasy team because his plan always changes by the week, so you can't really bet on him.
This is true. Germ?
I'm gonna make this an easy wrap up. I just think the Dolphins are the better team. I think the Patriots need to start 0-2, so we can then see them fight from behind for the rest of the month. And who knows? Maybe they end up 2-2. But I think they start off 0-2. Give me the Dolphins.
I like it. Last on the list, you got the New Orleans Saints at the Carolina Panthers. I don't really know how to feel about this one. This is another one of those games where it's like, okay, let me watch and see what happens. Let me watch and see what happens with Derek Carr. Let me watch and see what happens with CJ Stroud. Let me see how this defense for the Panthers continues to develop.
Bryce Young.
I'm just being real.
Bryce Young.
Say that again?
Bryce Young. You said Stroud. Bryce Young.
Sorry, my bad. Bryce Young. My fault. While I am not going to sip from every little thing that I see from the Saints, we do have to remember that years and years and years we say, yo, the Saints got one of the best rosters in the NFL.
I'm sick of saying it.
So, and we say it all the time about Derek Carr. Like he's got no reason to not be good. He's got no reason to not be good. He's just not good. So I am genuinely interested in watching both of these teams every week for the early part of the season to see if maybe, just maybe, Derek Carr can do something with his life. Give me the Saints.
Saints.
Yeah, I'll take the Saints. Also, we forgot Indianapolis and Houston, but I know
I knew there was a reason I said CJ Stroud.
Yeah, we forgot them.
Again, I don't really care.
Texas. Hey, just give me the Texas for no reason.
Give me the Colts. I'm going Colts.
Yeah, no reason at all. Just give me the Texas.
No reason at all.
Yeah, give me the Colts.
Yeah,
all
sure.
Right. That's my Deer Park water makes a appearance.
Yeah, so you know.
Overall, yeah, let's wrap it up because I'm getting hungry, yo.
Yeah,
we're gonna get you some food. It's 1 o'clock.
With that being said, with that being said, it's 12:55. We got 5 minutes till kickoff. Final thoughts for the show today, MJ.
Very simple. Work until it's real. This has nothing to do with football. This is just a life lesson for everybody. I am sick of people trying to fake it till they make it. Just exposing yourself and making yourself look stupid. Go behind the scenes, read a book, grind, work until it's real so that when you do talk that talk, you can stand on it whether you're right or wrong. Simple.
Right.
Imaginary players.
MJ.
What is this, leathers? This shit even got leathers?
No, but that's really, I'm gonna take it from what MJ says. Like in life and in football, it's a grind, and you gotta enjoy the process thoroughly, or else you ain't gonna make it. I mean, none of us gonna make it in the end. You know what I mean?
But all of us won. Once again, I bring it to the show. Hey, you're a human being. You could have been a cockroach. You're a human being. You won already.
Where's Trav? Where's Trav? Let Trav come on here and make it make sense. Oh my God. Take us home, True.
That being said, final thought for the show today is, yes, you could have been a cockroach. You could have been an ant. You could have been a potato bug. You could have been, bro, you could have been anything that was just,
Yeah.
You could have been a berry.
Yeah. Could have been an ant.
You know, you could have been a dust mite.
Yeah.
A bed bug.
Reduced your stock.
All I'm trying to say is it could be worse. So if the glass is half empty, it's got to be half full. With that being said, views from the 22 live on the scene. MJ, Chef Man, True Man Force reporting live from the scene. We are out. 22.